You are standing at the edge of a forest. It is early morning. The light is just beginning to come through the trees, and somewhere out there in the shadows, something is watching you. You cannot see it. You cannot hear it, but it knows you are there. Now, here is the question that most people never think to ask. When that animal looks at you, a soft, slow, mostly unarmed creature standing in the open, what does it actually see? Most people assume the answer is obvious. Wild animals fear humans because we are loud. We are big. We carry guns. But that is not quite right. Because in 2023, scientists set up hidden speakers in one of the most dangerous places on Earth, South Africa's Greater Kruger National Park, home to the largest lion population left on the planet. And what those scientists discovered turned everything upside down. Not just about animals, about you, about what you actually are, and what every creature on this planet knows about you, even if you do not know it yourself. Stay until the end. The last part will completely change how you see yourself every time you walk outside. Let us start with the experiment. Conservation biologist Liana Zanette and her team from Western University in Canada set up hidden camera speaker systems at waterholes in Kruger Park. When an animal came close, the speakers played a sound. Sometimes it was lions, real lions, snarling and growling, the most feared predators in Africa, animals that hunt in coordinated groups and can bring down a buffalo. Sometimes it was humans, just people talking calmly in the local languages of the area. And sometimes it was a control sound, something neutral, birdsong. Then the cameras recorded what happened, and here is the result that stopped scientists cold. 95% of species, elephants, leopards, rhinos, hyenas, giraffes, warthogs, all of them fled faster, went further, and showed greater panic in response to the sound of calm human speech than to the sound of lions snarling and growling. Not a gun, not a shout, just a quiet conversation in a local language. And they ran. Zanette put it plainly. Lions are the biggest group hunting land predators on the planet, and thus ought to be the scariest. But across thousands of recordings, animals fear humans more than lions by a massive margin. So what does that actually mean for you? It means you are not what you think you are. Most of us walk through nature feeling small, we feel exposed, we think we are the fragile ones. No claws, no fangs. Slow on our feet. Basically useless without a phone signal. But the animal kingdom disagrees. When you hike into the woods, the forest does not see a vulnerable primate stumbling through the trees. It sees the most dangerous thing that has ever walked the planet. Every rustling sound, every snapping twig, every trail you walk. Animals across the world treat your presence the way they treat an apex predator, because that is exactly what you are. And the evidence for this is not just in Africa. Researcher Darimont at the University of Victoria spent a decade compiling data from over 300 studies of predators across the globe. In 2015, he published his findings in the journal Science, and the numbers were staggering. Compared to other land predators like lions, wolves, and grizzly bears, humans kill large carnivores at 9 times the rate that those animals kill each other. 9 times! In the ocean, it gets even more extreme. Humans harvest adult fish at 14 times the rate of marine predators. And here's the detail that makes it even stranger. Every other predator on Earth mostly targets young, weak, and sick animals. The juveniles. The ones already struggling. That is how natural predation works. It targets vulnerability. Humans do the opposite. We preferentially hunt adult animals. The biggest, the strongest, the reproductive prime of entire species. No other predator in the history of this planet has ever done that at scale. Darimont called it the unique ecology of human predators. He described us as having wickedly efficient killing technology, and he meant it as a scientific observation, not a criticism. Because to the rest of the animal kingdom, this is simply the truth. You are not a guest in nature. You are the apex of apex predators. And somewhere deep in the biology of nearly every animal on Earth, that fact is already known. So if animals know this, how do they know it? Here is where it gets fascinating. Wildlife does not experience your presence the way you do. It does not see a person in hiking boots and a rain jacket doing nothing threatening. It reads you through an entirely different lens. Animals are constantly scanning the world for risk, and over tens of thousands of years of human hunting, many species have developed an instinctive fear response to the specific signature of humans. Not just guns, not just noise. Your voice alone does the job. Researchers found this across multiple continents, in North America, in Europe, in Asia. The pattern held everywhere. Animals respond to the mere sound of calm human conversation the way prey animals respond to an apex predator. Not because they have been taught to, because the fear is baked into them by evolution. Think about that for a moment. Your voice, the thing you use to order coffee and talk about weekend plans, that sound triggers a survival response in animals that a lion's roar cannot match. But there is something even deeper happening, and this is the part that changes everything. In 2018, ecologist Caitlin Gaynor at UC Berkeley led the largest study ever conducted on wildlife behavior and human presence. Her team analyzed 76 studies covering 62 species across 6 continents. What they discovered is that animals are reorganizing their entire daily lives around you. Across the board, mammals were becoming significantly more nocturnal in response to human activity. Animals that evolved over millions of years to be active during the day were abandoning the daylight, not just in places where humans hunt, everywhere. In areas with hiking, in areas with roads, in areas with agriculture, even casual hikers walking a trail, people who were not hunting anything, not making noise, not even looking at animals, caused nearby species to retreat into the night. 83% of the case studies showed the same pattern. Animals across every continent, every habitat type, every species size, all shifting their lives into the dark. To avoid you. Gaynor put it clearly. Animals are playing it safe around people. We may think we leave no trace when we hike in the woods, but our mere presence can have lasting consequences. Antelope on the savanna of Zimbabwe, tapir in the Ecuadorian rainforests, bobcats in the American Southwest, tigers in Nepal, coyotes in California, all rearranging the most basic rhythm of their existence, when to be alive in the world, because of us. Now here is the twist that makes this story truly strange. You might be thinking, okay, animals are afraid of hunters, of armed humans, of humans who actually do dangerous things. But that is not what the research shows. The fear response is not calibrated to specific human behavior. It is general, and in many cases it seems to be hardwired. Wild woolly monkeys in Ecuador were tested in a study published in the journal PLOS One. Researchers presented them with human figures acting out 3 different behaviors: hunting, gathering, researching. The monkeys responded differently based on posture and movement, but at sites with a history of hunting pressure, the base level of fear for any human was dramatically elevated. The mere presence of the human shape was enough to change behavior, even when the human was doing nothing threatening at all. Prey animals in hunted areas became more vigilant across the board, more secretive. They altered their foraging routes, changed their movement patterns, all because of the general category of human, not because of what that individual human was doing. You are not judged as an individual by the animal world, you are judged as a species, and the verdict has already been reached. There is another layer to this. Scientists studying squirrels in urban parks noticed something unexpected in 2019. In areas where humans and their dogs were frequently present, squirrels showed lower fear of humans and higher fear of natural predators like hawks. The squirrels were using human presence as a kind of protection, a human shield. Because large carnivores avoid humans too, so if you stay near the humans, you stay away from the wolves and the mountain lions. Even the animals that are less afraid of you are using you strategically. You are not neutral to the ecosystem. You are a force so powerful that other species build their survival strategies around where you are and where you are not. When you go to the park and feed ducks, there is a fox somewhere in those woods that has changed its hunting territory specifically to account for your presence. When you camp in a meadow, there are predators that will not enter that area while you are there. Your footprint on the natural world is not just physical, it is psychological, it is ecological. It runs through every food chain, every behavior pattern, every decision an animal makes about when to sleep and when to move. And now we reach the question that actually matters. Why does this feel so surprising? Because somewhere along the way, humans stopped seeing themselves as animals. We live in cities. We buy food in packages. We rarely interact with the wild world at all. And without that daily contact, we have lost the felt sense of what we actually are. We feel fragile. We feel small. We feel like visitors to nature's world. But nature has never shared that impression. For tens of thousands of years, Homo sapiens hunted this planet from the Arctic tundra to the equatorial jungle. We drove species to extinction on every continent we arrived on. We reshaped the behavior of every animal that crossed our path. And the memory of that is encoded, right now, in the biology of nearly every wild creature alive. The lion crouches in the grass, scariest animal in Africa, and then it hears your voice, and it runs. That is not a metaphor. That is the scientific finding of researchers across 5 continents. So the next time you feel small, the next time you are in nature and think you are just a soft, slow, unarmed thing wandering through a world that does not belong to you, remember what the animals already know. You are not walking through the wilderness. You are the apex predator that remade it. And everything out there is already adjusting its life around you. Even right now. Even when you think no one is watching.